Okay guys, we're doing Purrely today. I've held off on making this deck video because I've tried a bunch of the different Purrely builds and this is the one that I like. I don't see a lot of other people running the Dark World package in here. I personally really enjoy it because it makes discarding for any of the memory like cards down here, makes discarding for any of the memories neutral because when you discard Brow, you just replace it with another card. Or when you discard Snow, you replace it with Brow, and then you can use the Brow with another memory to basically replace it to where you don't neg at all when you're activating the memories. But let's go ahead and get into this, and then I'll go do a couple replays and just kind of tell you my thoughts on this and where I feel like this deck sits. So first, two Effect Veiler. I did try other hand traps in this deck. I did try running more than one Droll. I personally like the two Effect Veiler. I feel like Effect Veiler is a great card in this deck. Uh, Next, we have the one Troll. So, Troll is good. Just kind of stop your opponent from doing too many shenanigans. I've actually had situations where this has just been decent in general. Next, we have three Pearlies. So if this card's normal or special, excavate the top three cards of your deck, add an excavated Purrely spell or trap to your hand, place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Once per turn during your main phase, you can reveal a Purrely quick play spell in your hand, special summon one XYZ monster from your extra deck that mentions that card. By using this card you control as material and attach the revealed card to special summon that monster, this is treated as an XYZ summon. So why is this card good? First and foremost, this is not a once per turn for either of the effects. You can use the reveal and summon effect as much as you want per turn, and you can also use the excavate effect as much as you want per turn. And with the trap card that they have, which is Purleap, you can actually use this to recycle your Purleys to potentially resolve that effect 6 times in a turn if you want to. I think I actually do that in one of the replays. So, pretty good effect. Pretty good effect. Um, since we already have Purleap highlighted, the first effect of Purleap is you can target a Purrely XYZ monster you control, special summon from your extra deck one Purrely XYZ monster with a different rank by using that target as material, or return it to the extra deck during the end phase of the next turn. The next turn, which is pretty great. If you do this during your opponent's turn, you'll be able to keep your Purrely XYZ you summon with this until the end of your turn. And I'll show you why that's relevant. That is treated as XYZ summon and transfer its materials to the summoned monster, so good. The effect I use this for a lot is you can banish this card from your graveyard, target up to 3 Purrely monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and you can only activate one Purrely per turn. I'm running one of this. A lot of people like to run two of this. Do that at your discretion. Just kind of get the feeling for what fits your playstyle better. But on to Perlele, which is my favorite card in the deck in terms of the two monsters that you run, the two main monsters you run in this. So when you can normal or special it, you can add any Pearly card from your deck to your hand, except a quick play spell. So pretty good. Lets you target anything in your deck except for the memories. Most of the time with this, I'll either use it to add where is it? My Friend Pearly or the trap card. In rare occasions, I'll add Straight Pearly Street, and we'll go over those in a minute. But it lets you do that. And then its second effect is you can target a Pearly quick play spell in your graveyard, special summon one XYZ monster from your extra deck that mentions this card by using this card you control's material, and if you do, attach the spell card to the special summon monster. This is treated as XYZ summon. You can only use each effect of Perlele once per turn. These two are hard once per turn effects, so just remember that. Sometimes if I need to use the Perlele summon effect, uh, because I have the Delicious Memory Engrave, and we'll go over that in a minute, I will have to beam out a second one and use that effect if the first effect of it got impermed. And we'll go over that in a bit and that in the replays. 3 Maxi. This card is too good not to be running 3. Maxi is pretty much in every deck, and is always going to be in every deck at 3. Um, for the most case. There's some decks that don't run it, but like 90% of decks are going to run this. Actually, 93, I think, 92 or 93 was the last usage we got. 3 brown. If it's discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, draw a card. If it's discarded to the graveyard from your hand by an opponent's card effect, draw 2 cards instead. You'll probably never resolve that second one. But the first effect is great because when you use your pretty memory cards, all the pretty memory cards have the effect after they do their main effect to send one other card you control to the grave, then target. Not that, sorry. Whoops. Discard 1 card, and if you do, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. So pretty memory has that effect. Happy memory has that effect. Delicious memory has that effect, and sleepy memory all have that effect. After their main effect, you can discard 1 card, special summon 1 level 1 Purrely from your deck. So when you discard Brow, it counts for Brow's effect, and you'll basically go neutral instead of go -1 on that. And the best part is if you beam out Purrely with that, or if you beam out a Purrely, you'll have the potential to go actually go +1 with that interaction instead of going neutral. And Snow is kind of the same logic. When you discard Snow, you get to add a Brow. And so basically you'll get to go neutral with the first memory and then go neutral with the second memory, or potentially get a +1 in the form of Purrely or Purrely's effect. And that's why I like running it. It's a pretty cheeky build. I know a lot of people prefer the Kashtira build, but I kind of like running this. It's been a lot of fun, and it's another option, so I felt like I should mention it. If you don't want to run the Dark World package, you can honestly just trade them out for Fenrir and Unicorn, or just Fenrir. Next, we have 3 Ash and Joyous Springs. So you need the 3 Ash because Maxi exists, and Ash is just a good card in general. We already covered Snow. If it's discarded to the graveyard by card effect, you can add a Dark World card from your deck to your hand. I'm not going to go over the second effect because you will never use it. Next, we have the 1 Nibiru. This card is definitely decent. I've been kind of hit or miss if I want to cut this. I did recently find out when I was playing, someone Nibiru'd me and it didn't get rid of my Purrely Noir. And I was like, it doesn't affect Noir. How useful is this card really going to be in the format? Because there's a lot of Purrely decks in Masters. Masters is actually very competitive this season. I've been hard stuck at Master 5. But yeah, the Nibiru is optional. If you want to run 40 cards, not 41, I'd say cut the Nibiru. 2 triple tactical talents. If your opponent has activated a monster effect during your main phase, you can activate one of these effects. You can draw 2 cards, take control of a monster your opponent controls, look at your opponent's hand and choose 1 card from it, shuffle it into the deck. You can only activate 1 triple tactical talents per turn. This has been okay. You'll see me use each of these effects in the replay. It depends on the situation you're in. Sometimes if I desperately need cards, I'll draw the 2. Sometimes if my opponent has something that's annoying, I'll take control of it. Like, say my opponent has something that can't be destroyed or can't be targeted. Since this doesn't target, I'll take that and then I'll link with my opponent's card, if it's a light or dark monster, into Ace Azalea and do shenanigans with that. I've actually done that quite a few times. It's been very funny. Next we have Stray Purrely Street. Your opponent can't target Purrely monsters you control with card effects, which is decent, but that is only good for the turn they are special summoned, unfortunately. I wish it was permanent. Once per turn, if a face-up Purrely XYZ monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 level 1 Purrely monster from your deck or grave. That's great because it gives you a body on the board. And then once per turn during the end phase, the effect that I care about the most, you can target a Purrely XYZ monster on the field and attach 1 Purrely quick play spell to it from the deck or graveyard as material. And why that effect is so good is because Purrely Sleepy Memory is a great card, and we're going to go over that in a bit. So probably my favorite card from the deck, for spell and trap cards at least, is My Friend Purrely. You pay 5, you reveal 3 Purrely cards from your deck except My Friend Purrely. Your opponent picks ones and adds it to your hand, and then you shuffle the rest into your deck. So that effect is decent, and if you're running 3 copies of each, then you can basically pick what to add. You just pick 3 copies of the same card. Um, the other effect is if a face-up Purrely XYZ monster you control leaves your field or leaves the field because of an opponent's card, even during the damage step, you can add up to 3 Purrely quick play spells with different names from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of My Friend Purrely once per turn. So this lets you recycle, this could let you get a card, and this lets you put a body on the board. 3 fantastic effects. Next, we have 2 Called by the Grave. Maxi is a good card. I really want to stop it. So that's pretty much it. And there are some matchups where this card is used for more than just Maxi. I've actually used this in the mirror and had great success with it. Next, we have Happy Memory, which I only run 2. Most people run 3. You can run 3 if you want. I personally like 2. It's choose 1 card in the field until the end of the next turn. The first time it would be destroyed by card effect. It's not destroyed. Then, after choosing a card, you can apply the following effect, which they all have, which is the discard and summon. And then a Purrely XYZ monster that has this card as material gains the following effect. This card can attack monsters a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of Happy Memory attached to it plus 1. This in Plump can give you not Plump. This in Delicious under it can give you a potential OTK. We'll go into that in a bit. So with this one, you're going to be getting, let's see, which one's happy? Happy goes to Happiness. So this one that you can summon off of the Purrely effect or Purrely effect with the Happy Memory is at the end of the damage step, if it battled, you can add a Purrely card from your deck to your hand. If it has Purrely Happy Memory as material, you can have the attack of one of the face-up monsters on the field up to 3 times per turn. When you activate a Purrely quick play spell, you can quick effect attach it to this card on the field as material, then return a spell or trap card your opponent controls to the hand. So it can potentially bounce something, it can have the attack of something, and if you have Happy Memory, it gains an additional attack. So if you have 2 Happy Memories on it, it'll gain 2 additional attacks, which is pretty sweet. Next we have Purrely Pretty Memory. Each player gains 1,000 life points. Then you can do the discard effect. Its effect is a Purrely XYZ monster with this card as material as the following effect. You can send one other card you control to the grave, target a card your opponent controls, attach it to this card's material. Being able to target something and attach it to material is invaluable in this deck, I feel, because you can take your opponent's cards and it doesn't destroy them. They won't get the graveyard effect. It just makes them material. It's just like Cyber Dragon Infinity back in the day when that came out. Fantastic effect. You only have to give up 1 card to use it. You typically will be able to do that. You're going to see me abusing this a lot in the replays. And this card is Pretty Memory, which goes into Beauty. So Beauty is you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. It's a quick play effect if it has Pretty Memory as material, which is awesome. Up to 3 times per turn, when you activate a Purrely quick play spell, you can attach it that card, and then you can change the battle position of a monster your opponent controls, and that is awesome. So we covered Pretty. Next we're going to go ahead and cover Delicious. So choose 1 monster on the field until the end of the next turn. It can't be destroyed by battle. Has that discard effect, a special Purrely from the deck, and a Purrely XYZ monster that has this card as material gains the following effect. It gains 300 attack and defense for every material attached to it. This is great. And you can stack this too, which is even better. This one lets you go into Plump. Plump is the one I go into the most, and the reason I go into Plump the most is because I want to make Noir, and you can make Noir for free by overlaying it on top of a rank 2 that has 5 or more materials and transfer its materials to Noir. And we'll go over what Noir does in a bit, but first we're going to go over Plump. So, once per turn, you can target up to 2 spell and trap cards in either graveyard, attach them to this card as material. It's a quick effect if it has Delicious Memory, so you can use this during your opponent's turn. Up to 3 times per turn, when you activate any of the quick play spells, you can attach it to that card's material. Then you can banish 1 monster on the field until the end phase. So you can clear monsters to attack. You can do all kinds of things with this card's effects. And one of the things I've done a lot is my opponent has had spells or traps that their deck kind of depends on and recycles, and I've taken those spells and traps and I've attached them to Plump so they can't get to them. Most of the time, I'm just going to be attaching Sleepy Memories to it, and we'll get into Sleepy. Yeah, we'll get into Sleepy right now, actually. But yeah, Plump's a good card. So, Sleepy Memory. Next battle or effect damage you take this turn will become 0. You can also apply the following effect. Discard a card. If you do, special summon one level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. Purrely XYZ monster that has the card's material. Once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, you can draw one card. Yes, that does stack if you have multiples of them. And no, this does not bring out any of the Purrelys from the extra deck. This is pretty much just its own thing. And then finally, we got that Purrely. We already went over it, which brings us to our extra deck. So, Slacker Magician is a rank 1, 2 level 1 monsters. Once per turn, can't be destroyed by battle. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets this face-up card, you can detach an XYZ material, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. It's decent. I kind of think Fucho is a little bit better, which brings us to Fucho. It's unaffected by other cards' effects. Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from it. For the rest of this turn, this card can't be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage involving this card. Fucho is good because sometimes you will need to make a defensive board. You will see me using it a lot, and Fucho is very hard to kind of remove from the field for that one turn. So Fucho is MVP of the defensive board. We went over Happiness, we went over Beauty, we went over Plump. Next we have Downer. Downer is basically in here to be an extra material for Zeus. During your main phase 2, you can XYZ summon this card by using a rank 3 or lower monster as XYZ material. Transfer the materials to this card. Gains 200 attack for each material attached to it. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. If it battles, after damage calculation, detach 1 material from this card. Decent enough. Next we have EX Purrely Happiness. You can XYZ summon this by using a rank 2 monster you control with 5 or more materials, just like Noir. Transfer the materials to this card. During your main phase, you can detach a material from this card, and if you do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Until the end of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. If it has a level 1 Purrely monster as material, when an attack is declared involving this card that is 5 or more materials, inflict 1500 to your opponent. So remember when I was just saying that this can be an OTK enabler? Where is it? Happy Memory. Going into using Happy Memory, going into this, having a couple Happy Memories on this, you can do an extra 3000 effect damage and have 2 extra attacks. So actually you'd be doing 4500 damage. This card can do a lot of damage. The fact that it negates all face-up effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls until the end of the turn is great. I believe this card's really underutilized in Purrely's right now. I've mainly seen people just going into Noir, but I feel like Happiness is worth running at 1, and it really has its place against certain decks that rely on effects. Finally, we're going to be brought to Noir. You can XYZ summon this by using the rank 2 monster you control, the 5 or more materials. They get transferred to that card. This card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. That's right, it's another Cleafort Towers, except its effect is insane. While it has 5 or more materials, you can detach 2 material. Oh, sorry, it can't be targeted while it's 5 or more materials. The detach 2, you can do that anytime. You can detach 2 materials from this card, target a card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, place it on the bottom of the deck, and it's a quick effect if you have a level 1 Purrely monster as material. So you can stack this, bounce your opponent's field, have it just sit there unaffected as a boss monster, give it a ton of extra attack with Delicious Memory. This card can also even use Pretty Memory to attach your opponent's cards to it as material. This is a fantastic boss monster all around. Can't be Nibiru either. Next we have Divine Arsenal Zeus. You should know what this does by now. If not, give it a quick Google. I've probably explained it like 40 times in my videos at this point, so I'm not going to go over it again. Next we have Link Revo. 1 level 1 monster. When your opponent declares an attack, you contribute this card, change that opponent's monster attack to 0 till the end of this turn. If this card is in your graveyard, it's a quick effect. You contribute 1 level 1 monster, special summon this card. You can only use this effect to Link Revo once per turn. Decent card, plus it's a rank 1. and it just fits well with the deck because all your little monsters are level 1. Sky Striker Ace Azalea, 2 light or dark monsters. When must be link summoned, you can only special summon 1 Azalea once per turn. If it's special summoned, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. If you have 3 or less spells in your graveyard, then you send that card to your graveyard. Once per turn at the start of the damage step, if it battles an opponent's monster, you can banish 1 spell from your graveyard and destroy the opponent's monster. So, decent, and plus, it doesn't target for the destruction effect. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile part of this video. We're going to go ahead and get into the replays. I like this deck a lot. It's decent. It got me to master pretty quickly. I don't feel like... It feels like there's something missing from it just a little bit where it's at, but I do feel like it will be better in the future. And also, if you guys like the influx of Yu-Gi-Oh content lately, that I've been doing more Yu-Gi-Oh content, please let me know down below. If you don't like it, also let me know down below. I know there's some people that only like my Let's Plays, and some people that only like my Yu-Gi-Oh content. But anyway, we're getting ashed. We're getting Max Seed. My opponent is basically just shenanigans to me. I don't want any part in it. It's still going to go into Plump. They can have the card. I'm going to use the Plump effect. I'm going to attach their Welcome Labyrinth because I don't want them to have it. And I'm just going to do things. We're going to go into Fujo. Oh boy. That's okay. We draw 2 because of Plump effect, which is great. We use Fucho, so Fucho doesn't go away. And then we recycle our 2 Purrelys in the grave. And now we're just rocking and rolling. We're going to use the effect to attach more stuff, give us 7 materials, give us another material with Stray Purrely Street. And now is when the fun begins. So here comes the Welcome Labyrinth. We're not having a part in that. And they go ahead and quit. At this point, I was going to go into Noir and just like start spinning stuff back and just doing general Purrely shenanigans. So, there we go. I feel like Labyrinth is a pretty easy matchup for this deck, although it's annoying to just deal with all the back row. Like, I'm ready for Labyrinth to be out of the format. It just feels like slightly less annoying Eldritch from when Eldritch was full power. So there we go. Get an Ashed again. You know what to do. That's fine. We don't care. We're gonna plump. We're going to do this. We're going to do a little bit of that. Just all the things. Breaking the Dark Worlds, but we don't care. Just give me stuff. Give me all my stuff. There goes Plump. Plump effect. Oh, no. Oh, wow. We're actually going to go into happiness. I didn't know. Played that at that point. That's cool, though. Don't know why I did it that way. And here's Runix. I don't get my draw. I'm going to go ahead and do the Maxi. And Maxi into Ash Blossom. And I'm just like, yeah, F you. But doesn't matter because they're going to do shenanigans. And I mill the Droll, which is even more shenanigans. I'm going to get to add the 3 back to my hand, though. So, that's pretty sweet. And now I'm just even more surprised because I see For Hire combined with Runic, and I'm like, what is my opponent doing? This is not proper Yu-Gi-Oh! But you know what? You're a master, so go off, King. So I got the straight Purrely Street. They're going to maxi me. I have the answer, thankfully. And they're going to give up because at this point, I'm pretty much set. I can kind of do whatever I want to there with that board. I love the deck, though. It's really fun. It's fun beating your opponent with, like, stray cats when they have like these massive monsters out on the board. And it definitely has potential. I'm sure somebody more skilled at the game than I am will figure it out on Master Duel. So right into the My Friend Pearly. Go into My Friend Pearly. Reveal the card that I want. Get the card that I want. Just doing things. Just bam, 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 bam. And that's kind of a brick, but whatevs. Plump it up. Pucho it up. Not the best. Not the best start, but it's okay. We put our sleeping memory on, so we're gonna get to draw one. We draw into Maxi, and we just go, hey, that's pretty good. We see Kyoto Waterfront. We know they're gonna kaiju, so we at least want a card out of it. I'm gonna get my stuff back. And I'm gonna play Pearly, and I'm just gonna go ahead and get more pluses, because that is what this deck is about. We see Summoner Monk, and we don't know what they're going to monk with it, but it's a bad time. Even if they manage to get the Kyoto Waterfront effect off to get more kaijus, we have Droll and Lockbird. Like, at this point, we've pretty much won the game. Like, there's not anything they can do. Having that level of control of the field was also a very nice feeling. Just having hand traps be most of your interaction with your opponent in this deck is pretty much what you're going to do. Maxi, just shotgun. Everyone I play against just shotguns Maxi, and I don't understand that, because, yeah, you can do it, but if you shotgun Maxi and they don't special summon, you wasted a Maxi. I rather Maxi 2 something, and if they have something that special summons itself, where I can't react to it, yeah, they get 1 card. But I just rather, like, have knowledge of what I'm playing before I just shotgun Maxi. Personally, that's just me. Wow, that field is terrible. How do I win this? Oh. Huh. Oh, that's funny. I'm just gonna be like, no, your Bysteel cannot come out and play. Ah, Sprend. Help. Right things. Ah, Soul Sweeper. They see my Fucho and they're like, get it out of there, and no. Fucho's a boss. You can't get rid of Fucho that easy. See, look. That's how I win. Fucho being amazing. The pissed off bird that every Pearly deck should be playing. At this point they scoop, and I don't know why they scoop, because it would have been kind of hard for me to play out of that depending on what they had. I would have played it out, but I probably had the W there regardless. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, this video has been sponsored by W Energy. You can use code SirLargeGaming to get 10% off of your order. If you like energy drinks and you want something that is going to be way cheaper than buying canned energy drinks from the store, I get like, I want to say like 30, 35 scoops out of each tub of W, sometimes more. And you just put in a shaker thing, you shake it up. It doesn't have chalky taste like some of those other energy drinks that are powdered. And yeah, it just like really jacks me throughout the day. Like, I just feel wired. So yeah, if you want a new energy drink, try W. Use my code, or don't. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.